Week 3 of lockdown, and I'm beginning to realise just why I went out and lived so much rather than spending much time online. I mean, people do this all the fucking time with no other hobbies. I'm not having a go, but what a fucking existence. To cheer myself up, I got dressed yesterday for my big day out at the pub, which involves walking down and staring at it from a distance. I saw my neighbour on the way out, whose dog went up to greet me. Bending down to give it a fuss, I realised that this was the first living creature I'd touched in almost a month. Well, other than a mozzie that I caught mid-air like a fucking ninja, and myself, but I don't want to talk about that. I was beginning to feel a bit like a fucking melt, to be honest with you people. As I mentioned before, social distancing is not my bag. I'm a fucking extrovert, ain't I? At the same time, I like to think I've got some degree of self-awareness and gratitude for the fortunate position I find myself in compared to some people in the world, and pride myself on keeping my emotions in check, cracking on and dealing with whatever's thrown at me. It's the great British spirit, and I for one am proud to try and embody that as much as I can. I can only dream of having the courage, sense of responsibility and determination to achieve what this man has achieved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this man is a role model. Unlike this fucking wet flannel, in stark contrast, who's weeping at the doorstep of his fucking mansion due to the stress of lockdown when people have loved ones in hospital that they can't even say goodbye to. Is Sam Smith truly suffering? Is he, she, they just an attention-seeking fanny? That sentence doesn't even make sense if you make it PC. What's the fucking point? Anyway, one of these people is taking responsibility while the other is just causing themselves more distress. We need more of the previous generation's resilience to provide strong people. Maybe it's time we stopped mollycoddling our children so much. I'm probably going to lose a few of you here, but maybe as a society we're becoming a little bit too soft. It's important to gain a balance of reactions throughout life, and yes, we should strive to be kind whenever we can, but it isn't always the correct interaction. You wouldn't reward a child with kindness after they've just bit you, for example. We seem to have bred a generation of entitlement and instant gratification where being offended is the ultimate suffering. I mean, there's kids starving, war zones, oppressive regimes, death, misery everywhere, but fuck all that, what about this celebrity's feelings? Get fucked. And if you don't want to be ridiculed, don't post shit online. The internet isn't your safe space any more than it's a platform for abuse. Use it fucking sensibly. A handful of people have come out and instead of using Tom's endeavoured success as motivation, they instead used it as a political weapon as to why he shouldn't have to do it. Because, well, you know, politics. There's something these people fail to grasp about life that Tom understands in spades. Life doesn't owe you anything. You get out of it what you put in. And if all you're going to do is sit and whine about how you don't have enough rights, you'll do nothing with the opportunities and the rights that you do have. No matter what the situation, I bet you this man would have got up and done those lengths of his garden anyway. Why? Because he feels responsibility. Instead of spouting his mouth off about how he hasn't been well enough looked after and how society and the government is failing, he's doing what he can to help the other heroes get the resources they need to save lives. That's what being a responsible adult is about. Stop whining like fucking children throwing online political fucking tantrums. He did enough of that after Brexit. Fuck off and grow up. Talking of self-entitlement, Danny Rose seems to think he's more important than everybody else. At a time when us non-key workers are being told that we can and will slowly start going back to work, Danny Rose, in his own words, isn't prepared to be treated like a lab rat. A lab rat, for fuck's sake. He's quite happy to let key workers and NHS staff put themselves and their families at risk for weeks on end, yet as soon as he's requested to go to work in probably the safest environment available for a monumental amount of money, instead of kicking a ball, this cunt's kicking off. Again, get fucked, Danny. Sorry to burst your bubble, but the real world is out here and you need to man up and earn your fucking wage, you prick. If you're that worried, refuse to play and don't take any wages. You can afford it, and of all the Premier League players that we might miss, you ain't fucking one of them. Ugh. Anyway, there's some rumours starting to spark about COVID-19, but I need to get the whole scoop before I report back. No fake news here, people. Like and subscribe, make sure you're the first to know about the truth, and stay safe, motherfuckers.